What's up, everybody? It's your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, author of the Smart Home Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hands. 6-figure YouTuber managing $2 million in assets, and it's been a wild year, so far and last year. But I had to do this video. A lot of you are going, Erica, I get it. You're speaking on abundance and the vortex of abundance and making all this money and being super happy, and that's all good. But what about this? And we talk a lot about stop that split energy, but I will concede to give you a little bit of a peppered view of what some of you have been emailing me and speaking to me. And again, put your city and state in the comments. It helps the show, helps me know where you guys are at, and helps me plan this summer's meetups while I'm on the West Coast for 3 months. Part of what I want to talk about in this is a lot of Americans think they're going to live full time in Margaritaville. Now, what does that mean? If you don't know Jimmy Buffett, do yourself a favor, get you some cold pina coladas and listen to a little bit of Margaritaville, just to kind of, get yourself in the mind. They built a whole industry out of Margaritaville. They've made restaurants. They have a resort on an island. They have shoes, flip-flops, sandals, you name it. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? You know what I mean? Like there are artists who make songs in ode to Margaritaville. Now, you may say, Erica, I'm Black, I'm Latino, I don't really understand this Margaritaville you're trying to explain to me. Well, let me put it to you this way. It is the dream of living the good times. You're always on a cruise boat. You're always on the island. You're always vacationing to Miami, Las Vegas, Atlanta. You dig what I'm saying? If I use sprinkle, you're always going to Jamaica. This Margaritaville is this Tomorrowland where you can go kick your shoes off and just exist on an island drinking pina coladas, no worries, no struggles, and everything is wonderful. And people think they can live there full time. If you look on the internet, everything is trying to direct you to not getting more skills, not getting a better job, not getting up in the ladder, but if you just get a little shmoney, just a little shmoney, not money, but shmoney, some kind of smacky money that you can get all these hot women and vacation forever and never live to work another day of your life. Okay? What's up? Thank you coming in from Seattle. Hydrate. Listen, I am getting over this cold. If I start coughing, I'm going to pop this cough drop and keep on going. But I really want you guys to understand that, prime example, we got a lot of Side Hustle Nation. And I was just on a podcast that was called Side Hustle Nation by Nick Looper. Super great podcast. And there is this kind of on the internet, this side hustle. Yeah, and this was before 2020. This was before the virus. This was before things shut down. There was a push to this like gig economy, smooth sailing on the side. It's been that way for about 6 years now. Now, you say, well, Erica, where are you going with this? Before I get there, let me put a little pump the brakes on it. I will acknowledge the West Coast has been in a drought for 6 years. You look around, you look at the flowers, you look at certain things, you couldn't tell it, right? I acknowledge Idaho and some of these states are suffered from a really big storm and 30% of food is affected. I acknowledge parts of West Texas are in a bad, severe drought. Food will also be affected. I acknowledge that in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, many of the farms were purchased, major big farms in the meat production have been purchased by a Chinese conglomerate. I totally am not in this vortex of abundance blind spot where I'm not acknowledging that there will be changes coming. Hyperinflation, if you will. Currently already started. But anyway, but there are also people right now making millions. There are also people right now thriving, businesses growing. There are also people right now moving to bigger homes, purchasing homes. That means people are what? Have a job, are being approved for loans, are able to move in. In the Rise 20% class, we just had a mortgage loan officer come on. I want you to understand that no matter where you're looking at, it's 80-20, right? When you start seeing a lot of these people vacationing and partying, and you're seeing the 20% of their life, you're not seeing 80%. They aren't Margaritaville every day. There is a side to all of this economy that will require work. I acknowledge that. And I want you to understand that because I get a lot of emails, I get a lot of calls from y'all like, but what about this in Las Vegas? And what about the water in Arizona? And what about this? There will always be negative stuff going on out in the sphere that is our life. It's how you choose to build your reality towards it. It's how you go forth. I don't want you living in your house in a prison of worry. I want you to be proactive in making a decision. Okay? But in order to make that decision, we all can't be dreaming of living in Margaritaville. That's not the vortex of abundance I'm talking about or promoting to you guys. I'm not promoting this like dreamland where you never work again. That's not what this channel's about whatsoever, okay? Now, when we talk about the Side Hustle Nation, and I don't mean to keep talking about the podcast, I mean the actual American mindset that like, hey, I can leave my everyday job, start this side hustle, make millions of dollars, and then I sell off to Margaritaville. This is really how people talk to me in consult calls, on other YouTube channels. This is why right now you have some YouTubers, there's about 10 channels that went to 300,000 subscribers because everybody's like, what's a little side hustle? And no matter when I get on the phone with you guys or I get in coaching calls or group calls, people are like, listen, no one's ever heard of this business. I'm going to get on it. Trust me. If it's a side hustle, if it's a squeeze position, if it's a middleman to millions kind of job, I've heard of it. I've heard of it. I promise you. There's nothing new under the sun. Prime example, I'll give you 3 of them that are really big that you may hear a lot of right now. Pine straw removal, vending machines, and pallets. The pallet business. Everybody's talking about, yeah, man, I pick up these pallets, I'm gonna make so much money. And they forget the part in the, whether they're picking up pine straw, whether they're picking up leaves, whether they're trying to put vending machines somewhere, that you will have to create a book of work. Now, what is or what people call book of business, might be a better word. What is a book of business? A book of business is people that will work with you. People that will, hey, I'm going to call this guy because I know he'll come and get it. And what ends up happening is people completely forget, yeah, you may create a side hustle with vending machines, a side hustle with Middleman to Millions, if you're my course, where you create a lawn care company or a cleaning company or a painting company. You still have to build a book of business. I talk about it in the course. You still have to go almost and be the plug. Like everybody in town ought to know you, right? This is the same thing. A lot of people think, hey, I'm gonna be a wholesaler. I'm gonna make 40 grand next month. How does that wholesaler make that money? By being the plug, by literally spending maybe 5 to 8 hours connecting with everybody and their mom on Craigslist, on Facebook, inside Bigger Pockets, inside RIA meetings in their town. And then when you look up, all of a sudden, 2-3 years later, when you see that same wholesaler, they are now in construction, they doing new homes, they're building stuff, they're buying land, they're doing all these things because they had to grow and change and develop. Let me say that again. I know I lost a lot of you, but they had to grow, change, and to develop. Many people want to go through this life being a one-trick pony. If I could tell you how many times I've got on the phone the past 90 days where people are like, yo, Erica, I'm going to do this side hustle and I'm going to quit my job immediately. Whoa, wait a minute. How much does a side hustle make? I don't know, but they told me it makes a lot of money. Now, there's something I want to reference to you guys, and put a 1 in the comments if you know what show I'm talking about. Sanford and Son. Put a 1 in the comments if you've ever seen the show or heard of the show Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son is a father and son who have a junkyard. Now, I used to, as a kid, be like, I don't get this show. Why is my grandma and my family members still watching this show, this old show? I don't get it. And then I remember us driving out to the country to our other aunt's house, and there was a neighbor. And they jokingly called him the Wolf of Parkton. This man will never see this. I'm not worried about it. His kids won't even see this. And he literally had 6 acres. And from the front of the acres to the back of the acres, it was absolutely full of crap. You know, one of his grandchildren came over to the house and got bit by a snake. And people were like, see, I told you, this lives in crazy. And finally the city, and it wasn't necessarily a city, I think it was a county, after the kid got bit, they were like, hey, you got to clean this up. And he was so nervous because he's saying, this is all so valuable. Now, if you ever watch Hoarders, same thing. This is all so valuable. This junk has value. And he's right, it does. If you process it, if you clear it, if you work through it. Sanford and Son, the show was funny because it was a junkyard, but yet he was living every day, hanging out, goofing off, laughing with his friends. People want to live Margaritaville while living Sanford and Son with a yard full of junk. And the junk can be a metaphor here, okay? The junk can be either your baggage you're carrying with you, or the junk can literally be people think they're gonna run out and start these side hustles and have nowhere to store the lawn care equipment, nowhere to store the vending machines, nowhere to store the pallets. And hey, I'm gonna run out and I'm gonna get all these pallets, Erica, and I'm gonna make all this money. And they're trying to squeeze the time of holding, right? Again, in order to squeeze the time of holding, you're gonna have to create a book of business. How do you create a book of business? Well, that means you have to talk to people. That means you have to pick up the phone and you're gonna have to talk to people, you're gonna have to call people, you're gonna have to visit locations. And guess what? I probably just lost some of the introverts of you. You're like, oh, I ain't doing that. I gotta talk to people, I gotta go call people. And this is also where people lose it in real estate. When they realize they have to call people and talk to people. You're not gonna be able to text your way through millions of dollars. You're not gonna be able to text your way through millions of dollars. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I always want this channel to be this uplifting, encouraging, motivating channel. I want that for you. But I want you also to not talk to me on the phone and think we're going to Margaritaville. Girl, I'm going to do one pallet for 3 weeks and then I'm going to go on to Margaritaville. No, that's not how it works. It's really, really not how it works. And again, a lot of the people on these channels that are teaching you this, they're making more money, like myself, teaching in front of the camera, talking on the phone with you, building coaching, being a mentor, than doing what? The actual side hustles they talk to you about. And here's the little thing, right? Stability, okay? And if you see under the video, I have them listed out, but 80-20 really looks like stability. Sanford and Sons is funny, but Sanford owns the property, right? So he can have junk going everywhere, right? A lot of these people that have these junkyard businesses have the land they own so the junk can move at whatever rate and speed they want it to move. Right? A lot of these people who have all these vending machines, you even see Todd Capital, he's got literally storage units full of vending machines where he keeps picking them up, but he has to do what? Call and talk to who? Routes and warehouses to place them, right? Because people still do what? Work at warehouses, right? Stability comes in the form of, for a lot of the people who are looking for side hustles, I get it. Listen, I actually am mentoring a young lady who is currently homeless and she's in a hotel at this moment. She's not like on the streets. And it's all about stability, right? Because your hierarchy, your needs are somewhere to live, somewhere to sleep. And as oh my God, I'm like, take a deep breath, honey. All you have to do is work job 1 and job 2. And in 3 weeks to 4 weeks, we're gonna take both these paychecks. We're not gonna go get a better hotel. No, we're gonna stay at the same hotel right now. You're gonna take these paychecks, you're gonna go over to this apartment complex, and you should have enough between down payment and deposit to get into that unit. And then we'll worry about your light bill when it comes. The deposit needed to get the light bill on. We'll worry about that as it gets there. It's $100. They bill it to you. See what I'm saying? And what makes me think of this conversation is, as I was talking to her, a lot of like, well, I could hustle and do this, and I could hustle and do this, and I could do it. And I keep letting people know, the people in these videos that are talking to you and telling you this, they have somewhere to live. A lot of them are married. A lot of them have a stable home that they go to every night. So, and I'm trying to be careful here. This whole 2020, what people really learned is if you have stability, if you have a place to stay, you can play around with all these little things. If your mortgage is low and you got a wife and she sometimes work or she don't, or you keep the bills low, yeah, you can play with these different things. But if you're a one person or one woman show, I'm not going to advocate for you to quit your job and do side hustles. I am going to advocate for you to build a business in the afternoon with your 5 to 9 time that you use watching Netflix anyway. I'm going to advocate for that. I will never turn this channel into like hustle, 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 sprinkle dust. Yeah, hustle. Even when you see my old videos where I talked about people Ubering and lifting and driving, delivering food up to $4,000 to $5,000 a month, that was that person's everyday gig for 8 to 10 hours a day. That's what they did every day. 80-20 for them looked like work. Okay? So again, when we see Margaritaville, keep in mind Margaritaville is possible, but it's only 20% of the day. It's only 20% of that, right? Even myself as a business owner, I've had to lean out companies, lean out offices, lean out this, fire these people, move this around. Hey, we shuffling our feet. We letting go some of this stuff because we know our numbers enough to go, we have to let go of this stuff or it's going to drown us and take us down. We gotta let it go. We got to spend this much more on advertising, this much. You have to know your numbers. And a lot of people showed us in 2020, they didn't know their numbers and they didn't value relationships. Now, let me be very transparent. I feel like on the phone and also in person, what I am seeing is men and women who have no one, right? And they think money will fill a void. Or if they get more money, they will get the women that they particularly like. I will tell you this, and I want to be very clear. Money exposes you, okay? Relationships exposes you. If you think you're going to come to somebody and you don't have any hobbies, you don't have any other friends, you don't have any other kind of balance to your life, that person will quickly see that. Quickly, right? And so in my attempts to do this channel and do the show, I'm like, look, y'all, sorry, I have hobbies. Sorry, I'm taking the summer off. Sorry, I've already scheduled Alaska with my family to see my brother and all my family together. Sorry, I've already scheduled several days in the future off. If that means I have to liquidate and cut stuff, that's what will happen. Because the most valuable thing of all this is people, right? So the reason people get onto this Margaritaville, because it's the tomorrow dream. Tomorrow, I'll go goof off tomorrow, right? Like this dream. And so I just want you to understand 80-20 really looks like, okay, you may not retire in 2 years. You may not even be able to quit your job this year. But what can we structure for you, whether it's more vacations, okay, more time with friends and family, so that your 80-20 isn't as depressing, I guess, as I can say, as it is now, right? Because a lot of you call and go, I'm ready to quit that job. Quit it. I'm out of here. Quitting that job. And I'd be like, wait a minute. What we got stacked up? Nothing. But this side hustle I'm about to do, no. Don't call me with that because I'm going to hurt your feelings. Hey, you're going to buy this truck, then I'm going to buy 3 trucks. First of all, you ain't got the first truck. You don't know how this runs. You don't know how much this business costs, right? I'm not deterring you. I'm not a dream killer. I'm definitely not a split energy lady. I just want you to look at the floor. Okay, this is what's going on. Okay, this, and this is going on. Okay, this is short of ammo. This is hard. But okay, now let's strategically plan what's the next move. The rates in trucking are going to go up this summer, that's for sure. But we're still short 150,000 drivers. I drive by a trucking school, by our old office, because literally we're liquid. We close an office, we switch to this office, we switching it up, baby. Erica's not playing, okay? There are guys out there who used to be a driver 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. They're at this truck driving school that's literally 2 acres. 2 acres, and all they're teaching them how to do is back up and turn and get tight turns for the trucks so they can be recertified to enter the trucking industry again. And this school has like 50 people in this little two-acre parking lot, practicing on 7 trucks, just taking turns, everybody taking turns. So yes, is trucking got money? Does transportation has money? Yes. Does all these side hustles you see, pallet businesses, side businesses, e-com businesses, all these things make money? For sure. But I want you to lean your business so that it's best for your mental health, your physical health, and your family. You got to strategically plan some of this stuff. A lot of y'all be like, I'm out, I'm hopping on this, I'm doing this, I'm gonna buy 4 or 5 of these things. Hold up, wait a minute now. Hey, Charles Ogilvy, I see you in the chat. I just finished telling him, I'm like, Charles Ogilvy's got vending machines and storage units. You have to be able to have somewhere to place these vending machines, right? And so I would encourage your entrepreneurship. I encourage everybody who comes on here, I want you to do it, but I want you to understand that you need to be tracking and measuring. And just a little insight, even the top millionaires I know here in Austin, and there's some killers out here in Austin, just killing it. You never even heard of them. They take vacations every 90 days. They ain't at Margaritaville every day. Now they do get on the boats here in Austin a lot in the summer. It's summertime, it's a wrap. But in general, they take Cabo 90 days, Antigua 90 days, whole family trips 90 days, every 90 days. You know what I'm saying? So when people tell me I need to go, I'm like, wait a minute. You want to travel every weekend to another place? Okay, what's the numbers of the business? Who's running the business while you gone? Who's making stuff run? What's the automation here? I even at this level in YouTube, which is not this spectacular YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers, I had to partner with people so they can run my ads and run some of my back office. I just want you to understand that I get it. 2020 was stressful. Everybody wants a vacation, but you got to know your numbers. You got to be tracking and you got to be measuring if some of these things are seasonal. And let me be very clear, all businesses are seasonal. Oops, I know nobody told you, but again, March through April, January through April, well, January through March, April through June, July, then September, and then October, November, December. Like these times matter when you step into actual businesses, when you do things. A lot of you call me talking about, yeah, I'm gonna do pine straw. I'm gonna clear snow off yards. I'm gonna do this. Okay, now what you gonna do in the spring? Oh, I don't know, girl. I ain't thought about that. Right? Because this is not you can't shovel snow all year long unless you live in Alaska. And you still got 3 months you ain't gonna be shoveling snow unless you go north. So again, a lot of these side hustles are attractive. They're beautiful. I just want you to have the floor, of course, be stable, right? Where you're living, what you're doing, be stable, and then step out and really assess what's 2080. Because if you go 150% to everything you're trying to do, y'all will burn out. I've experienced burnout before. There's several people I know who experienced burnout. What you have to do is track these numbers, y'all. You have to know if something's working. Now, don't quit on it if it don't make money by Tuesday and you started Thursday. But definitely be tracking enough so that you can actually, okay, this is what happened. We're going to rest and recover this weekend, and then we're going to assess if this is working. Right? So I hope some of that made sense for y'all. And I'm really serious. A book of business. What is a book of business? I know I didn't mean to skip over, but a book of business means you guys have to build up a portfolio of people you call and talk to. If you're a wholesaler, you need to know everybody in town. Everybody. You should be the plug. They should be like, hey, you know, Jerry over here just sold me a house. Oh, yeah, girl, he needs a roofer. Da, 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 da. And then they send people to you. Do you know how many times people call me with stuff and I'd be like, girl, I can't help you. You send it on over to this girl. She's got you. I pride myself in being a super connector and not being able to help everybody. Like, oh, girl, let me send you over here. I had 10 drivers that needed jobs. I was like, oh, I only got half the trucks right now, so you can go ahead and go to these people. Well, now I need 2 more drivers. I'm mad. I'm like, somebody send back to me. But because of my vortex of abundance mindset, the phone gonna ring. I ain't worried about it. Somebody gonna need a job. somebody gonna cycle it back to me because I cycle it out to people. So Justina, she said, the pandemic showed me blogging can be seasonal depending on the niche. Some bloggers were thriving while others had a decrease. My friend is a mommy blogger. Girl was on in Oprah's, it's a thing Oprah has for Oprah ambassadors. Oprah ambassadors. They were sending her stuff left and right to her house, from Target, from Amazon, from everybody, throughout the whole pandemic. Why? Because moms were home with kids and they had to figure out activities, workbooks, coloring books. That's why I tell people, if you are in the space to work with children or moms, you're gonna make a killing this year, because not everybody's sending them kids back. I know y'all think everybody's like, I'm sending my kid back when it opens. No, they're not. A lot of people got a real taste for what it is to conserve the lifestyle down, make dinners for your family at home, not be in traffic, and just have to put up with kids acting wild for a few hours. Yeah, I'm staying home. This is why you see the relationship space go so crazy right now. There's a lot of people like, woo, need somebody. This pandemic. Oh, I got to get with somebody, right? Now, they may be funneling their conversation in a negative and toxic way, but this is what most people are seeking, is some type of companionship, okay? And so you have to understand, people are trying to figure out what's the easiest, laziest way I can get companionship and a lot of money. Neither one of those are going to work because both of those things are going to require what? Some work. It's just, this is what it is. So I'm going to read over some of y'all comments. But yeah, that's people's favorite word, is I want to fire my boss. I actually have somebody coming onto the channel, and his book is called No Boss, Just Clients, or No Boss, More Clients. I don't want to kill it, but he's coming on the show. I also have Sabine, the New York lawyer, talking about LLCs, corporations. I also have a young man who has a 20 business car rental, and he's got a Lamborghini in San Francisco. Black man, business owner. You know, I got several people coming on the channel, and also some people going inside the Rise 1%. Because, you know, certain things need to be certain places, but that's a big dream for people. Honey, nobody wants to date a hermit. That's what I'm telling people. Like this summer, I've booked my pilot classes, private pilot classes, back into motorcycle school so I don't fall and hurt myself. Also swim lessons, so I'm more confident, because I had like a fear when I was little, and now as an adult, I still have a little bit of that fear when I get in the water. We're trying to course correct that, right? So that's just hobbies. Okay, I've already scheduled trips with family, right? And now work goes in between. But it wasn't always like that. I've built this up to be this way, where I can go back and just run ads now on old content, on other things, and still make money. I've made money through this whole pandemic. It's been ebbs and flows. It's gone up and down. Some months were over leveraged, some months we're right back where we need to be. But guess what? I've never had to be like, man, I'm gonna have to go back and get a job. No, not one time. Not one time. Not one time. You know why? Because I planned, I measured, I tracked, I budgeted, I looked at my income, I looked at my numbers. Oh, we don't owe anything except for our apartment rent. We're good to go, right? So you have to kind of do the numbers and see where can you go left or right. You know, I got some more interviews for the rest of the year, because there's been several people who've been messaging stuff like, yeah, I want to come on. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to be on vacation, but we'll have one live a week for the next, I think, 3 months after April 30th. And so we've got people already putting in the calendar for those 1 lives a week. So everybody else is pre-recorded material. And the only other place you'll really have access to me is the Rise 20% Part 2 and the YouTube course Part 2. There you go. My checks have not stopped, but I started in 2016. Auntie put the work in. And I think, Auntie, you have the books, right? From Japan. Busted. I sure was looking for an easy, quick way. Listen, Chan, a lot of people, that's what they're doing every day. They're looking for really quick, easy ways to make money. And if you guys really, I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater or against anybody making money on YouTube. I love when people make money on this platform. because there's a lot of people making money that shouldn't be, and then there's ones that should. But anyway, you have to build a book of business. I want you to go back when you watch all these people channels, Reyes, Carlos, all these people, they talking about solar. We have a solar guy coming on the channel later this summer, and he's crazy busy, but he's going to come on later this summer. You have to build a book of business. No matter the side hustle you think you're going to step into, who's knocking on doors, who's cold calling people. I mean, you can pay call centers to do it, but if you don't have any money, which is a lot of the nature of the side hustle culture, is you have to be the phone person. So I want you to understand, building a book of business is something you all will have to do, no matter what you pick. Let me see in here. Seattle checking in, what's up? They just added a Margaritaville in Jacksonville Beach. I'm telling you, this man has been able to take the ideal of Margaritaville, which is honestly, work is hard. My boss gets on my nerves. I'm going away to Margaritaville. Cool, right? You can't be Junkyard Sam and Margaritaville at the same time is what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. A lot of y'all want to do a lot of these side hustles that require space, time, places to put stuff, creating a book of business. You're going to have to talk to people, build it up. Building your life is 100% up to you. Yeah, there's a great quote that it says the first half of your life is doing what other people want you to do. The second half is realizing you got to build this thing yourself. You know, true life, the same thing with the notary business. So many people trying to come in and get rich quick. You know, there's a man in Atlanta that does crazy numbers with the notary business. I'm talking about crazy numbers. But he has a lot of people helping him do that. If you make $200 a day for 30 days straight, that's $6,000. See, people want you to tell them they're going to make $20,000 to $30,000 in a side hustle, and that's what's up. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you, if you go review every channel that's out here teaching you about side hustles this summer, they're going to talk to you about buying a book of business. If you're in my Middleman's and Millions course, I talk to you about in the cleaning business and all these different businesses, you're going to have to spend some money advertising. You're going to have to either work with Home Advisor, you're going to have to go on Facebook. I even put inside our Classy Climb Facebook group and the other Facebook groups an example of some of my students' ads. One of the students here in Austin cleaned my apartment, a deep clean. I paid for it at the highest cost, right? Because you're going to have to build a book of business and repeat service customers, no matter what the business is. Grow, change, develop. Listen, every single one of these channels, what they can't say to you, which would hurt your feelings, is, hey, in order to do this business, you're gonna have to have a phone that rings. Not a phone that plays video games all day, a phone that is ringing. And you're gonna be calling people and calling them back and scheduling stuff and putting stuff together. Right now, I just went to the event, Scaling with Systems in Florida. There's 7 people in Austin. We are still shuffling to try to get all of our schedules on the same timeline so we can all eat together. Like, we are literally still shuffling because we all have what? Busy schedules. And I'm the most flexible of them all. I'm like, hey, you guys can meet me on Thursday, whatever. Thursdays are open. Oh, okay. Well, I'm over here doing this. I'm over here doing that. I'm like, create the schedule. You create the schedule. You're the boss of you. You create the schedule. If the schedule is not working for you, you need to change it. Man, how do you do your business like that, Erica? Guess what? People gonna be mad at you either way. They're gonna be mad at you either way, right? Your first goal is to do what you said you're gonna do, always. But number 2, realize no matter what you do for people, people gonna be mad at you. A really great thing, said the other night. Oh, what's their name? What is their name? Oh, Todd. I think Todd even said it. People think I'm gonna give you the money. You're gonna go make a bunch of money and give me back the money. That's crazy. That's crazy. But people really think that they're not going to have to do any work in this process for the next, I don't know how many years. Sanford and Son, yeah. Money is a relationship thing, not a hustle thing. Listen, let me tell you, if you have your house, and I tell you right now, I've got a friend, military. When he got out, he took that VA loan, had a property out there in Round Rock, then moved down closer to Austin, rents that one out, and rents the rooms out in the current one down South Austin. That's what he does. And people always be like, man, you need to do more work. He does work sporadically. He's not retired because he's young, but he does work when he wants to. Trust me, we love laughing about that he does work when he wants to. And that's the position you want to be in. Not fully like hermit, debt-free hermit. You in the middle of the woods nowhere, can't see family, can't see friends, but you're debt-free. What does that mean, right? But you don't want to be so in debt to your eyeballs that you can't live either. So again, it's about crafting the life you want. My brokerage will be licensed. Congratulations. Listen, 2,000 cold calls, baby, you need a drink after that. It's all about how you finish. I mean, every day, like stuff can go left, right, sideways, to the middle, but you can always finish it better. Pivoting, yes, pivoting. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Thank you so much, Charles Ogilvy, for the 1999 super chat. Build a book of business. I'm telling you guys, right now, with what I've done just in, we had cold callers for 3 months, and they were overseas, and I had to let them go. I was like, yeah, this ain't working. I had one guy who cold calls for like minimum wage, and we closed one deal. But in that time frame, we have all these phone numbers. We have all these people. We have a book of business. We can still go pick it up and call more tomorrow. And hey, dude, how can I work with you in this? How can I do this? Can I partner with this? We have a freaking hedge fund that called us and was like, okay, you guys have more deals. Just bring them over here to the office. We'll work it out with you. I was sitting there like, oh my God. But that comes from building a book of business. And if I really want to go super hardcore crazy this summer, I could do that. But I've already scheduled the time for me to be away. So that's what I'm doing. There's so many opportunities everywhere. Solar is a great industry. Listen, I know 3 people right now who have $1 million solar panel businesses, and they barely have systems in place for hiring, getting it serviced, whatever, because you know why? It's always going to be sellable to people like, hey, the government has free money for you to put this on your roof. You fill out some forms. It's not going to cost you much out of pocket. Is always the key word, okay? And it's going to save you $300 a month on your light bill. Now, I don't know about you, if you've ever lived with other people or teenagers or just family members who leave every single light on in the house. Some people will see their light bills and be like, oh my God. Some people in Texas got a $5,000 light bill. Some people got an extra $200 light bill because of the storm. And so this sale of like, hey, we're going to put these solar panels on your roof and this is the future. Look at Tesla coming to town. That's an easy sell. It's an easy sell. Saving people money is always an easy sell. Hustling is cool. It's a stepping stone to something else. Yeah, I mean, again, I keep wanting to tell y'all, like, if you ever notice any of these wholesalers, they don't stay wholesalers. They literally grow, develop, build their book of business, buy properties. The game requires you to elevate. Listen, y'all, even here on YouTube, I'm required to elevate, to be better, to better camera, better lighting, better audio. You cannot stay the same, right? Even I spent $80K one year, basically all these different systems, learning them, growing them, perfecting them. Okay, I just spent money with Grant Cardone Ventures, just spent money with scaling systems, partner with these different people. Why? Because people are always going to try to perfect how little they can do and make all this money. That's not the game. You have to progressively get better. You have to, as a business person, get better. Listen, you want to understand how much you don't know or how much you think you know? Go speak to somebody who's been doing what you're doing for 5 years longer, 10 years longer. Go speak to somebody who has investments and been investing 5 years longer than you. The best thing I ever did is go step in a room with people who have big businesses and go, oh, honey, no, stay under 10 employees. You're doing great. No, do this instead. That's great. No, do this instead. Run these ads. Do this. Biggest thing I learned, there's people I thought were heavy hitters. They spend $40 a day on ads. That's it. That's it. You know why? It's the consistency that pays. Not the big jump in the ocean, all these ads. I know a person right now didn't have a business till earlier this year. And they've been running ads the whole time because they didn't want to do it the organic way. They were like, nope, I'm just going straight to the ads. So there's a way to build your business, but it's going to cost you one way or the other. It's going to cost you some money. It's going to cost you some time. Listen, Ricardo Roper, I'm serious. People want to, when they start telling me all these different business ideas they have, I'm like, where are you going to store this stuff? I remember when we lived off Runberg, which is now gentrified. Houses going for $400,000. When we went over there, it was like 180. Hood. People still doing craziness. But the soccer stadium's over there now. There were people over there. It was a Mexican guy next door, and his roof looked no raggedy. It was the craziest thing. And he had 3 F-250s. New, y'all. Not old, new. Cash money paid for. And, you know, people were complaining about how he was parking, but he had a corner lot house, so whatever. He could park on the corner and the side. And every morning, guys would show up, park in his driveway, get in the trucks, and roll off and go to work. And you would talk to him and be like, man, why don't you go buy a bigger house? Why don't you buy an office to park the trucks? Why don't you A, B, and C? And he's like, why? You know, he just had that face like, why? Like, I got a big yard right here. These trucks aren't bothering anybody. You know, neighbors that complain, but what can they do, right? It was the middle of a gentrification kind of process. When I looked at that man, I was so impressed, y'all. Because all I can think of is he's running a cash flowing business. He puts people to work. In the daytime, they go climb up on roofs. They get done in the afternoon, and they go play soccer in the little park when they're done. Not always him. He usually sits in the chair, but the other men did. And I thought that was the best life. He runs a business. Guess what? When this economy goes crazy or hyperinflation hits, guess what he's still going to be doing? Putting on roofs, still making cash money. Probably put a cam on his house, make sure nobody's stealing nothing off the trucks. D-Chan, build that book of business, you guys. So anyway, but not going to be on here all night because I'm, at the end of the day, the voice. But I really wanted to do this video because I keep seeing people with the same kind of conversation of like, hey, Eric, I just want to make a bunch of money and run off to Margaritaville. You know, even at my last conference, they were like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, man, let's just make up $2 million and I'm going to pop off and go skiing and doing this. And they're like, okay, but what about the people in your coaching groups? And what about the people in your class? And I'm like, you're right. Invest with 20% of time, which is the Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and teach your class, and then go live your life. So again, you have to make the schedule, make it work for you guys. Justina said, I'm working on my small business plan now. I've learned small business need multiple business opportunities to stay relevant and compete. Well, honestly, Christina, you just need leads, and you really need to follow up on them, depending on what the small business is, right? Because everybody I've almost talked to at this point is consistent leads, follow up is your bread and butter. That's why no matter how much people talk about crap about salespeople, every company needs salespeople, or they need a follow-up person that's following up with people that are in your business, whatever your customers are, whether it's e-commerce or whoever, right? It's cheaper to take care of your first customers than go out and get new customers. And this is, you can learn this from Grant Cardone. You can learn this from anybody in sales. There's a great girl that has like, what do you call it? Go culture, sell culture something. Anyway, it's a girl whose dad is very dry, and the two girls are like, Dad, you should teach how you sell because you seem like a very boring guy, but you make millions in sales. How is that possible? Follow up, mirroring the culture. That's how you treat people. Follow up with people. Hey, hop on the phone with people. Sometimes people will text me or email me angry messages. I get on, hey, let's get on the phone. Completely different attitude. Sometimes people don't know their tonality in words. You dig? So again, I'm gonna hit them scopes. I had to stop myself from going to Breckenridge with some folks the last week, and I was like, y'all, I'm sick, but I would go if I wasn't sick. But for real, I want y'all to understand that. So no matter what you see on this channel or you see anywhere on YouTube, even for the rest of the summer, even if you're in my Rise 20% class or my YouTube class, building a book of business, having sustainability, and tracking and measuring will take you guys much further than you ever can think of going otherwise. So listen, if you're an American, yes, we may have some struggle months coming ahead. You may have some inflation issues coming ahead, but guess what? Every day somebody's getting up and they're making money somewhere. Stocks, real estate, building small businesses, squeeze businesses. There's a ton of little squeeze businesses. And anytime somebody says, well, Erica, you ain't never heard of this. Let me see this video. I've probably heard of it. Every little squeeze business has something. If it's in trucking, there's a million things around trucking that can make money. If it's in e-commerce, there's a million things around e-commerce that make money. If it's in real estate, there's a million things around real estate will make money. So don't limit yourself or limit your thinking to thinking, man, everything's saturated. That's a very limiting operational belief up here. You can't live like that. You know, even with coaching, someone told this girl coaching was saturated. She made $2 million last year. I ain't never heard of her, and she made $2 million. I want you to understand that when people tell you something's saturated, be careful how you listen to them. It's what you're looking at every day. If you ever hop off this YouTube on your laptop and go on somebody else's laptop, their whole front home screen will be completely different than yours. This algorithm feeds you some of the same people, and it looks like some stuff's in an echo chamber and everybody's out vacationing in Florida, but they're not. I was at a conference and there were 20, 30, 40 men in there. I ain't never heard of them online. I ain't never seen them. They ain't got big Instagram pages, but they got big pockets. Big old pockets. I was like, hey, can you come on my channel? Yeah, you know, I'm not really a social media person. Do you want to talk money? I was like, yeah, we want to talk money. Okay, I'll come on to talk money. I don't want to talk about social media stuff because that's not how most businesses are built. Most businesses aren't built out here to stunt, right? Don't let these PPP stunting fools get you crossed out. Make sure you actually grow an actual business that does what? Hires 1 or 2 employees so that you can live a regular life, 1, and 2, you can go about your day. But we'll always talk more about it in the Right 20%. We'll talk more about it for any of those who are building businesses or booking phone consults. I still encourage your phone consults. I just want you to know I'm not going to lie to you on these phone calls, and I want you to be encouraged, not discouraged when you talk to me, okay? Lots of opportunities in health. Lots of opportunities in health. Telehealth is blowing up. Even yesterday we had DJ Money on water stocks. Everything you can think of. It will require money. It will require attention. There will be money to be made in those fields. So this is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. We ain't all going to Margaritaville, but we can have a good time on our way there, and we can schedule our way there. So hope you guys have a great day. This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog. Be well, be safe. Later.